the coach that I had on that team had ended up getting an offer onto a pro league team to help coaching that team, and that ended up becoming my very first pro league team. Just a heads up. Yeah, you're good. My first live interview probably gonna be asked, to be honest. Sorry about that.
It's all good. Alright. So before we start, um, I just want to do a bit of an icebreaker. So, um, we both met each other through a mutual. So, could you tell me a little bit about your school days, and before you became a pro?
Yeah. So, uh, when I was in, I've been playing the game since I was maybe in the 6th grade. Um, so pretty much as the game's been released, I've been playing. I had buddies from school tell me to install it. It was like when it was in like its beta or whatever. I never actually got to play the beta
Mm.
because my internet was some shitty booty back in the day.
Yeah.
So I never got to actually finish installing, but that's kind of like how I really like started playing it. And then pretty much been playing it ever since. In high school is what kind of when I really started getting into it. Kind of figured out that there was a pro league.
Yeah.
Kind of, started to think to myself to like, oh, that would be pretty cool to play in or make.
Yeah.
So in high school, I would end up like ditching high school, ditching days, first day of the season, not going to school, kind of just doing doing dumb shit like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, it ended up paying off. But I remember in high school, I didn't have a computer to play on. I
Mm.
pretty much only played on console up until high school. And I would ditch and go to one of my buddies' houses, and I'd play on his computer. Um, And that's kind of like pretty much how it all started on the grind on PC,
Oh.
but it's pretty much how that started for me.
Okay. When you played on console, were you an Xbox kid or PlayStation?
I was Xbox.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, so how did you get your name?
Back on Xbox, it was like cool to have like a shorter gamer tag, I guess. And I remember, I remember me and my buddies were sitting in a call together, just like putting fucking random letters together to find the shortest gamer tag, even if it didn't make any fucking sense. And I've one of my buddies is like SUXF isn't taken, and you could just tell people that your name's Surf. I was like, oh, and then I pretty much spent the $10, changed my gamer tag, and then now that's pretty much how the gamer tag or the name Surf became what it is. Pretty much,
Okay, that's
it's kind
cool.
of funny. Yeah.
So, what's your what's it like being a pro player? Like, how does your schedule look like?
Honestly, being a pro, like you kind of get to be a bum really. Like you don't really need to do much other than play the game. I mean, I kind of go out still with friends and spend time like that, but for the most part it's like you play it's kind of like your hobby and your job at the same time, so it's pretty cool because it's not like you need to leave your house. It's not like you need to go and wear a certain uniform or whatever the case may be. Like a normal job, it's more so kind of really chill. You just kind of get to do your thing, play your game, and you know not really much to complain about there. You get
Yeah,
paid to do my hobby pretty much, so
that's
it's really
true.
nice.
Yeah. So for when you're doing like for scrims and stuff, is it usually on LAN or over internet?
It's online most of the time. I mean, I remember when I had moved to Vegas, there were teams that would like say whenever the servers were to go down or something along the lines of that, like
Yeah.
there were teams when the Pro League was on LAN in Vegas. There was teams that would like pretty much invite people, other teams over, and then they'd pretty much just like scrim on land. It was pretty cool.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. So, what team do you play for right now?
I play for Luminosity Gaming.
Luminosity. Oh, okay. So, what's the easiest team you faced?
It's a good question. Let me think.
Because I know we had this conversation before, but like, I don't know what teams you recently faced.
Hmm. I think the easiest, like all time easiest team that I've played was the old SSG roster, but not because they weren't a good team, but back when I was on Beast Coast, my very first pro league team, I had a teammate. His name was Sweater, and every time we played him, that guy would just drop like 20 kills a game, and I would always be doing absolutely nothing to help, and he'd just pretty much give me a free dub. So I guess that would be one of the easier teams that I've played.
Oh, was Water more of an entry or?
Yeah, he was an entry.
Oh. So, what was your support during that time?
What role did I play?
Yeah, sorry. What was your role? My bad.
I played back in the day. It was more so like the roles were easier to like really separate, but like as of right now, it's more so like everybody kind of plays everything. There's no really set roles, but back when I very first joined a pro league team, I was playing more of a soft breach role. Um, it was like a sledge buck, and then on defense, I'd kind of play um like roaming ops pretty much.
Hmm. Did you play during the TDM meta for Pro League?
Yeah, yeah, I did.
How bad was it?
Um, I wouldn't say it was that bad compared to the current meta right now. The current meta is pretty much just like a bunch of cheese and a bunch of pretty much like whoever can do the simplest thing on attack and kind of like who can get away with the free round win kind of like you bring like the shield ops, you bring the fucking flashing ops. You bring the ops that can track people, and then you bring Dokkaebi, call people's phones, and it's like you kind of just work off the intel you're given and just pick on a player most of the time, and it's just kind of really cringe.
Yeah.
Especially when you're on the defense side of it and you're just getting picked on by all five of those ops. It's kind of just cringe.
So you would say it's more like playing for refrags?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. So who's the hardest team you faced?
Hardest team I faced would have to be Mirage. I mean, those guys. I've I've been playing them for. They're not a team anymore due to like the org just being shitty.
Hmm.
But I remember playing those guys back to back stages, like a couple, like pretty much a game off of qualifying for an event. And every time that team would literally be 10th place NAL team. They had nothing going for them, but they just turned up when nothing was on the line. It was just kind of like they were just there to just kind of sabotage other people. It just made it so hard to play against because when you're playing with something on the line and they got nothing on the line, it's kind of just, you know,
Yeah.
kind of just a recipe for disaster, really.
Oh, okay. Hmm. What what's training like?
Um, it's, I mean, there's really like it's like once you make pro league, it's kind of like you're in pro league for a reason. It's like you didn't get picked up in pro league to because of like what you're going to like kind of become as a player. It's more so you're in pro league because you're good. You have whether it's good mechanics, you're a smart player, whatever the case may be. It's more so just kind of keeping up with it, keeping up with the meta changes, stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. What if you had to choose between streaming or being? I mean, you're already a pro player, but if you had to choose between pro league or streaming, which one would you do as of right now? If it's like guaranteed, like you're gonna be big.
I would say pro league.
Pro league.
Uh, I I think that kind of depends on the situation you're kind of like. I personally enjoy competing a lot. Like
Yeah.
I, I don't need to be paid insane amounts of money to compete because I genuinely enjoy it. It's not like a job to me. It's more so of a hobby.
Mm.
So, for me, uh, it's pretty well known within the community that like content creators get paid way more or make way more money than pro league players, depending on the team and org that you're on. But I definitely do enjoy competing way more than I would streaming and doing stuff like that.
Mm. Okay. So it just varies per person. Okay.
Yeah,
Have you ever thought about streaming?
I've thought about it, but it always kind of, I don't know. I feel like for me, one, it's hard to stream, at least when you're playing Siege, due to um, cheaters. Like,
Oh yeah.
just literally the game's infested with them.
Yeah, and high
So it kind
elo.
of makes it hard to really do anything outside of practice.
Yeah.
But I mean, if I could stream outside of practice and could stream outside of, games and scrims, I mean, I would definitely do it because it's not like I don't play the game in my free time,
Yeah.
you know? So
Yeah.
it'd be kind of like a waste of time not streaming, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Because I had a conversation with my friend, and he was just like, if some streamers they double dip, and like that's why they stream while getting practice in. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Like if Siege was a game like say Apex Legends where you're able to like stream your scrims and stream your games, then I can see that being something that I could do. But uh, Siege is more of like strat based game. Like
Yeah.
every team has their strats, every team has their pushes, their defenses, and if you really just stream your games, like teams are gonna just watch your streams, like pretty much know everything you do, and then at that point you're at a disadvantage, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Which makes so much sense. Okay. What skills are transferable?
mm, I would say mechanics, your game sense kind of in a way. I mean, the
Mm.
way you play out rounds, the way you play with your teammates is transferable. Like Uh, I play like other games like Val or CS or games like that.
Yeah.
And it's always like when you play ranked, it's like a different game you're playing. Like a lot of people don't really. It's kind of just play for yourself.
Hmm.
But I think I think whenever you get to like a T1 level of gameplay, you kind of see the game differently. You kind of you don't think, oh, how can I kill the whole team? It's more so like how can me and the team push and win the round, not, you know what I mean? It's more so focused on how to win the round rather than how can I hit a clip, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure. So, what are your goals after the pro scene?
Probably go back to school, for something. Not too sure what, but go back to school and get a normal job probably.
Oh, okay.
The
That's
goal is to make this some sort of job later on, whether it becomes streaming content, YouTube, TikTok, whatever the case may be. But it's always like my backup plan is always to just because none of that's guaranteed. You know, my backup plan has always been to just go back to school. You know what I mean?
yeah. It's a solid backup plan.
Yeah.
Hmm. I mean, if you do like choose streaming, at least you have like a following and you're like well known in the scene, so
Yeah.
which is very good. Mm, what do you do in your free time?
Spend time with family and play the game pretty much. It's kind of spend time with family, friends, play the game, but mostly play the game. I enjoy playing the game a little too much.
Oh, so when you're at like the house that they put you in, uh, when do you have to like stay there, or you're able to just go back to your, to your parents' house and visit them whenever you want, or how does that usually work?
When the league was on a land in Vegas, it was pretty much you stay in Vegas with your team, practice with them until the season, and then once the season's over, you're kind of every depending on the team or depending on whether you make that major invite or whatever the case may be, you're able to either go home or you're obviously like usually after the seasons, teams are given a week or two off, and then once the week or two is off, you're pretty much back to practicing. For me, when I was on the pro league team, we didn't make any events when I was in Vegas. Like we pretty much just always lost.
Oh,
so so whenever the season went over, it was just kind of like go home, spend time with your family, be back for next season. But for the teams that had made events and had like qualified for them, it was you get a week off, get 2 weeks off, and then you're kind of just back to playing, grinding for that event within that's coming within the next couple weeks. You know what I mean?
yeah. Oh, okay. Mm, what are your thoughts of current state of siege?
Uh, I think I think the game like gameplay wise is in a really good spot, at least for the competitive point of view. But outside of the competitive view, I kind of don't really see. Um, I don't know. The game doesn't look really good based off of just not being able to play it outside of competitive. Like the cheaters, you can't play ranked, you can't play casual, you can't play um 10 mans because even in some of the 10 mans you somehow some way you get cheaters in those as well, so it's just kind of really just hard to really play the game, to be honest.
Yeah, I saw a clip of I think it was Atheno. He was playing and then a chicken popped up.
Yeah. Like there was a point where cheaters were literally putting pictures on your screen, which is just insane.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. What advice do you have for the people that want to go pro?
I mean, I would say just grind it out. Like, I mean, honestly, going pro is just having the passion to actually play the game and, you know, having the mental to actually make it your job, you know?
Yeah. Who picked you up and discovered you?
Um, so when I first had switched to PC, I had never played comp, had never, I kind of only really ever played ranked. I was kind of a rank star. Uh, and I switched to PC, and I had a couple friends from console. that
Mm.
had also switched, and we I had pretty much played ranked with them. I had hit number one in the world twice, and from there, that's when I started to really like get noticed. And after pretty much switching and my very first season being number one, which is kind of a little odd for some people in the beginning. I remember having people come in and asking me like, "Are you cheating? Were you mouse and key on console?" Things like that.
Yeah.
And it was just like, from there, I was like, "Damn, like maybe I am a little like pretty good. Maybe I'm just not like some ranked player. Maybe like I can actually go pro."
Mm.
And pretty much from there, that's when I kind of just started to want to play competitive. I kind of started trying out for teams. Um, and I had a friend from console that was on a Challenger League team, which was the tier below Pro League. You would get into Challenger League, and then with whatever said team, you had the chance to qualify for Pro League. They had a thing called relegations,
Oh.
and from relegations, you pretty much, uh, pretty much the best Challenger League team would go against the worst Pro League team, and you would pretty much play in a best of three, and whoever won the best of three would pretty much either stay in Pro League or the Challenger League team would take that Pro League team spot as the 10th Pro League spot. And I pretty much would trial for my friend's team, and I remember them telling me I didn't get the spot and that they were gonna go with somebody else. And then they went and I had to ask that person if they were interested in joining the team, and he had said that he was going to take a little break. And then they went to another guy, asked that guy if he wanted to join the team, and that guy had already joined a different team.
Mm.
And then they kind of came back to me and were like, "Hey, like, the other options didn't work out. Do you still want to join?"
Wow.
And I said, "Yeah, like, of course, like, I'm not gonna say no. Even if I wasn't their first choice, I still wanted to compete." And I remember I was still hyped, although I wasn't like at the time I wasn't thinking like, "Damn, I was you guys' third choice." I was more, and I remember my very first stage I played, and um I didn't really do that good or play that good, but I remember the coach that I had on that team had ended up getting an offer onto a pro league team to help coaching that team, and that ended up becoming my very first pro league team that he was on. He ended up like messaging me, telling me, "Hey, I think you should try out," and uh, I I tried out, I got the spot, and that's pretty much how I got into Pro League.
Oh, okay. So when you played on stage, did you did you get nervous?
The first game I was a little nervous, I will not lie, but after the first game, I was good.
Oh, okay. What exactly separates you from your teammates?
Say that again. Sorry.
What exactly separates you from your teammates?
I think as of right now, what separates me from my current teammates is my experience. Uh, More of my teammates have more of less experience than I do, and I think that's pretty much the only thing that separates me.
Oh, okay. So you're playing with like new gens as of right now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for everything I wanted to ask. As
Uh,
a closing statement, do you want to say anything for the record?
mm, no, just thank you for asking me to do my first interview, I guess.
Yes, of course. And thank you again for, um, you know, for being here and stuff.
Yeah, got you.